So, yeah, man, I mean, for someone who doesn't know who Dr. Khanyile is, who is Dr. Khanyile?
I'm a medical doctor currently working in the Johannesburg circuit, studying to be a pediatrician. I also am the vice president of Mental Matters, which is an organization that helps to destigmatize mental illness in young people and society at large.
Yes. Okay, so I want us to talk about your journey of really just finding what you want to do, probably like after school, or how you just found what you probably want to study as well. How was the journey of you finding what you want to do?
Sorry, please ask the question again.
No, I'm saying, how was the journey of finding what you want to do after school? Because you said you studied medical. You studied medicine, right?
Yes, I did. So when I was in high school, I applied. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, so I applied for a couple of things, and one of them was teaching, one of them was accounting, the other one was pharmacy, and I got into medicine. So I ended up doing medicine, and I just really wasn't picky on a particular thing. I just wanted to do something that was going to help me teach people, because I really enjoy teaching, and also something that was going to constantly keep me motivated to study or to learn more. So that's how I got to medicine.
Yeah. So I would assume for you to be, interested in that kind of a field or faculty, you must have a selfless attitude. So how important is a selfless attitude in just being a human being in general?
I think the selfless attitude is very important, but selflessness has to come from not just who you are, but also how you act.
Yeah.
So it has to start all the way back when you are young, and some people learn that over time. So I don't think you have to first be a selfless person before. That can develop once you start seeing that the community needs things, and over time you start helping out and realizing. But selfless is also not to say that you are sacrificing yourself, and people need to be careful of that line.
Yeah. How do you draw that line now?
So it's important to know when you are burning out. So understand your limits, understand your interests, because I think a lot of the time people get into medicine for the wrong reasons, and then they burn out very quickly because the passion is not there. It doesn't mean that you're not a good person, and it doesn't mean that you're not a hard worker, but it's not your passion. You need to understand why you are doing something, and when you understand your why, then the how and the what becomes very easy. So know your limits, understand when you are burning out, and have a good support structure, because sometimes even when you are within your passion, you can burn out, so you need to be careful of that.
So basically it's good to self-introspect and just get to know your strengths and weaknesses. That's what you're saying?
Sorry, it's good to do what?
Like to self-introspect, to know what you love, so that you can be able to draw the line.
Yes, exactly that.
Okay. So how important is it for one to be able to not just take care of their physical being, but to also pay attention to their psychological being?
It's incredibly important, because I think it doesn't make any sense to have a great body and be in shape, but you're unable to take care of yourself from a psychological point of view. And also, you're a human being in a society who has people that rely on you. So you need to be full from yourself, so that when people in your life need help from you, or when you need to be there for other people, you can pour from a full cup and not an empty cup.
So let's talk about your lowest moments in your life, because I mean, at the end of the day, we are human beings, and we all have our fair share of our lowest moments. And how did you rise above it?
I think there's been many low moments, and I think what is difficult to say, because at the point when I had the low moment, I also wasn't in a good place. So I honestly think it was God that pulled me out of that moment, simply because I was able to use the resources around me, being the people in my life who loved me, and I listened to what they were saying. I used just really like understanding that this low moment was there as a lesson to teach me that, you know, everything in my life was not over. Take a moment, take care of myself, but also to face the hard truth that I was not doing the right things and I needed to make better decisions. So I used that low moment more as a lesson to me to change for the better versus using it as something to overcome and beat myself up over.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're known as a medical doctor, and we here on Electrified are quite curious, what else are you passionate about, like your other passions and interests?
So anyone who follows me on Instagram will know that I really enjoy just holistic wellness. So when I say holistic, I mean, while I speak about quite actively physical health and how you need to take care of your health from a medical point of view, I speak about physical health also from exercise and fitness in that aspect, and finding good relaxation techniques. I also talk about stress management and how you need to work efficiently instead of working hard, because working hard is fine, but it doesn't make sense that you just burn out all the time. Other interests also include things like mental health. Like I said, I'm the Vice President of Mental Matters, and then I'm just a lover of life. So I enjoy spending time with God and actively speaking about my journey with that, and then being with my family and my friends.
Yeah. So who inspires you to basically keep on being Dr. Khanyile and keep on being, you know, sort of an advocate for mental health?
I think there's too many people that inspire me, which is kind of a good thing. Definitely all of my friends, because they're all good at me. They're all better at something that I'm not. And I think it helps me realize that even though they are better at it than me, it doesn't mean that I need to be envious of them. So it's a good thing to push myself. And there are celebrities, too many to count, who I can actually look upon and say, these people inspire me. But definitely mentors that I have in my life that are inspirational and are easily accessible to me, that I can call upon for any advice.
So what type of music do you listen to at the moment? Who's your favorite artist? Local, international?
I listen to every kind of genre you can think of. I think it's difficult because, man, like, music is so just depends. So locally, I'm really enjoying a lot of the music that Something Soweto's putting out now. Another artist that I enjoy locally is Tapsi. So from an R&B point of view, in like the Gamo Bellas and the Busiswas, they always like a vibe because they put you in a good mood. Internationally, sure, there's a lot of people, but the ones that I'm really listening to now would be like the Ari Lennoxes, and also Cardi B always is a fave. There's too many, man. There's just a lot, but it's just a whole mix between house, hip hop, kwaito, dance music, R&B, just everything. I listen to whatever I feel like has a good vibe that morning. And then standard is all of my gospel music that I listen to.
So just to enclose, what are your words of encouragement to young people? Because Electrified is like a show that is listened by, you know, young people who are trying to find themselves, like who are still at school or who just got out of school. So what words of encouragement would you give to just young people who are just trying to understand this thing called life and to really take mental health seriously?
The important thing is, don't wait until you finish something to become something. Start being that person now. So don't wait until you finish matric to really start studying. Don't wait until you finish this year to do something. Start that now, because a lot of the time you never know who's watching you and who's paying attention to you, and you never know the habits that you're going to form that are going to make you successful in being in that place.
Yeah.
So things like making sure that you keep up to date with your work, things like being on time for things like making sure that your assignments are neat and that people, when they look at your work speaks for you.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things really show up for you already now when you're in primary or high school. So that by the time you get to university, when the workload almost like goes 10 times more, you've already done the right things and you've already got the good habits.
Yeah.
So make sure that you're consistent already today. Don't wait to have an organization to help out your community. Helping Ogogo next door or helping out at your local church. Those are the small things that you need to do that get you into that habit of helping people, so that when you have to do things like a 36-hour call because you are the only doctor that's available, you don't feel like that's something that you've never done before. You understand what service looks like.
Yeah. And I really have to support that, because us young people, we only take things serious after we're done with school. We're like, how? So life is like this, now we start taking ourselves seriously. Yeah. No, thank you very much. We really appreciate your time, even though we were late. We really appreciate your time. And I think just keep on being, that person who thrives for mental wellness. And, we look up to people like you.